The moment Harper Evans stepped into the Belmont Grand, time forgot how to move. 8 months pregnant, alone, and absolutely breathtaking. Her silk gown, deep emerald, fluid like water, hugged every curve shaped by strength and sacrifice. The chandelier light caught the gold in her hair, but it was her poise that silenced the room. Not the bump, not the rumors, just her. Jackson Reed stood across the ballroom, whiskey untouched in hand, heart suddenly choking on guilt. He didn't know she'd be here. He didn't know she'd still haunt him like this. 5 months ago, she left without a word, just silence and a sonogram tucked into his unread emails. Now, fate threw her back into his line of sight, and all he could do was watch as the woman carrying his child walked through success like she never bled for it. And damn it, she was winning. Jackson didn't remember walking toward her. His body moved before his mind caught up, drawn like a tide to the moon. The laughter, the clinking glasses, the hollow congratulations around him blurred. Only Harper existed. Her back was turned as she reached for a glass of sparkling water at the bar, one hand gently resting on her belly. He opened his mouth to say her name, softly, like it might scare her off, but all that came out was, "Sparkling water, neat." Her hand froze mid-air. She didn't turn right away. But when she did, her eyes met his like a collision at full speed. No screech, no warning, just impact. "Jackson," she said, like it was both a curse and a memory. "Harper." His voice cracked. "You look—" "Don't," she cut him off, calm but cold. "Please don't." Silence stretched between them, taut and trembling. Her gaze dipped, almost imperceptibly, to the drink in his hand, then to his suit. Immaculate, polished, guarded. Just like the man she left. "I didn't expect to see you here," she added finally, tone clipped. "I didn't know you'd come," he said too quickly. She gave a small laugh, one that didn't reach her eyes. "Isn't that always how fate works?" Before he could answer, a voice boomed behind them. "There you are, Jackson. They're waiting for your toast." A silver-haired board member clapped him on the shoulder, oblivious. Jackson hesitated, then turned to Harper. "Can we talk later?" She looked at him for a beat too long. Maybe. And then she walked away, again, but this time in heels and on her own terms. It didn't take long. Whispers followed Harper like perfume, sweet and sharp. Cameras weren't supposed to be at the gala, but rules bend when scandal walks in wearing emerald green. A woman that beautiful, that pregnant, that alone. A young reporter cornered her near the silent auction table. "Miss Evans, just one question. Who's the father?" Click. Harper blinked. The question was expected. Still, it cut. "I don't answer questions that small," she said coolly, reaching for a glass. But the camera didn't back down. Then a hand covered the lens. "Delete it," Jackson said, voice low, lethal. The reporter stuttered. "Mr. Reed, I didn't realize—" "You did. Now walk away." Silence fell around them as Jackson turned to Harper. "I didn't like the tone." She raised an eyebrow. "You didn't like the tone?" He nodded once. "I don't like anyone making you feel like you have to explain yourself. To anyone." Harper looked at him, long and unreadable, then said softly, "Too late for that, don't you think?" Before he could answer, she stepped away into the crowd, leaving behind a camera that didn't get its shot and a man who finally understood what it meant to be too late. The gallery was quiet, dim, all velvet shadows and golden frames. Harper stood alone, staring at a painting of a mother and child under stormlight. It felt cruelly fitting. She didn't hear Jackson enter, but she felt it. That impossible tension, the weight of a presence that once meant everything, and still somehow did. "You followed me," she said, not turning. "I always do," he replied, softer than she expected. A beat passed. "I thought about calling," he added, 1,000 times. "Then why didn't you?" He exhaled, broken. "Because I was a coward. Because I thought maybe, if I stayed away, I wouldn't ruin it more." Harper turned to face him. Her eyes weren't angry, just tired. "You didn't ruin it, Jackson. You just weren't there to save it." He flinched like she'd struck him. "I didn't know how to be a father," he said. "You didn't have to know," she snapped. "You just had to show up." Silence again. "I read your email," he confessed. "The one with the sonogram. I read it 100 times. I didn't reply because I thought, if I said the wrong thing, you'd hate me forever." "I hated you more for saying nothing," she whispered. Her voice cracked. "You left me to do this alone. Every doctor's visit, every headline, every night wondering if I was enough. For me, for her. I built everything back from scratch, and you were just gone." He stepped closer. "I was scared." "So was I," she said. "But I showed up anyway." He swallowed hard. "I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm asking you to let me try, to earn back what I shattered." She looked down, one hand instinctively on her belly. "Trying doesn't fix everything." "No," he said. but it's where everything could start. Harper didn't answer right away. She looked at the man in front of her. The man who once disappeared when she needed him most, now standing here with nothing but honesty in his eyes. "I'm not who I was," she said finally, "and I'm not looking for someone to rescue me." Jackson nodded. "I don't want to rescue you. I want to walk beside you, if you'll let me." Her chest rose, slow and steady. "I can't promise you anything," she whispered. "I'm not asking for promises," he said. "Just a door that's not shut." She studied him. The nerves, the regret, the hope he barely dared to show. Then she gave the smallest nod. "Okay, one word, one breath, no guarantees." But for the first time in a long time, Harper let someone stay. The applause was thunderous, but Harper only heard one voice, tiny, high-pitched, and proud. "Go, Mommy!" Ellie sat in the front row, swinging her legs in sparkly shoes, clapping with wild abandon. Her curls bounced, her smile missing one front tooth. Harper stood at the podium, fingers wrapped around the edge like it was the anchor of her entire past. Beside her, Jackson adjusted the mic, his other hand brushing hers. Not for show, just to say, "I'm here." 5 years ago, Harper began, I walked into a room full of strangers with a baby on the way and no plan except to survive. Tonight, we launched the Evans Reed Foundation. Not just for women like me, but for every parent who ever had to rebuild while holding a child in one hand and hope in the other. Tears welled, but didn't fall. Jackson smiled at her, eyes shining, not just with pride, but with something far quieter. Gratitude. They had built this life with no guarantees. Just choice after choice, hand after hand extended without knowing if the other would reach back. And they had reached. Later that night, as Ellie fell asleep in Harper's lap backstage, Jackson looked at them both and whispered, "Thank you for not closing that door." Harper leaned her head against his shoulder. "I didn't," she said, "but you still had to knock."